Welcome. In this project, we explore how different types of shoes create friction when they slide on a wooden ramp. We tested the shoes on both dry and wet surface. Friction is important in everyday life because it allows us to walk without slipping. By comparing different shoes, we can understand how their materials and textures affect grip. For our experiment, we used a wooden board as our main surface. The goal was to compare the friction of our different types of shoes, both on dry surface and a wet one. This helped us see how water and the shoe sole influence traction. The materials we used for our experiment was different types of shoes, an inclined plane, a protractor to measure angles, a spray bottle with water, a camera to record our tests, and a weight or scale.
Hello, my name is Ante Rivera and I will explain the procedure, the framework, and the types of friction. For the procedure, first we put all the shoes in a dry ramp. We lift the ramp until each shoe can slide. We brought the angle and repeat that 5 times. Then we did the same process, but now with the ramp width. With these angles, we calculate the friction coefficient with a formula theta equals tan of the angle. Then I will explain the theoretical framework. First, what is friction? Friction is a force that resists the movement. It happens because superficies has tiny irregularities. The static friction starts before the shoe moves, and the kinetic acts when the shoe is already sliding. The friction coefficient can change with the shoe sole or the type of material of the ramp. Now the types of friction. We have two, and the first one is the static friction and the kinetic friction. And the coefficient of friction is a number that compares the friction with a normal force. Kinetic friction opposes the motion when the surfaces slide. It usually stays constant in the same materials. Static friction stops movement from starting. It acts when surfaces and both surfaces and the shoe are still. That's all for me, and then my classmate will explain the next part of the slide.
We used a wooden inclined plane because its medium roundness makes friction differences easy to observe and gives realistic shoe grip. These are the masses. Basketball shoes 0.319 kilograms. Soccer shoes 0.300 kilograms. Vans shoes 0.315 kilograms. And Adidas shoes 200 kilograms. Basketball shoes work best on dry indoor floors. Soccer cleats are for grass or turf. Adidas work well on everyday dry surfaces. Vans are good on smooth or semi-rugged dry floors but slide on wet ones. If something is moving, a force is acting on it. A force is needed to stop it or change its direction.
So in conclusion, this grip depends mostly on what the sole made of. So these basketball shoes has the better grip, and they are made of rubbery material that grabs better on wood or on hard surfaces. So in other hand, the soccer cleats had a like a harder material that doesn't grab well to hard areas because they're made for soft and dirty places. And when we wet or moisture this material, we can see that all of the shoes had a decrease or lower grip because of the moisturize of the zone, but it's almost the same like basketball shoes. For its rubber material also absorbs this water, so it can grip better. And well, they're made for that, for playing on wood courts. so you can't fall and you can grab to the floor when jumping or running or anything related to that. So why do we have these results? Well, first thing, the material was wood, so basketball shoes had clearly benefit or like advantage in this type of material because they're made for a good grip in wood, because that's what the basketball courts are made of. And so the Vans has always a good grip on almost any surface, because there are daily shoes that you can use to go out with your friends or to go to school. The dressing shoes are made for more formal places with materials harder and slippery, so they are also not made for wood. And soccer cleats are nothing to do with wood, so that's why I think this has not better grip. Also because the soccer cleats has this tiny like it's called tacos, so it has almost no grip because they're not made for grabbing hard surfaces like wood. They're made for soft and dirty surface, so it can like puncture in the floor, so you can have a better grip in that kind of surface, like grass, dirty places and something like that. And with the wet ones, they're basically the same answers. Yes, of course, the coefficient of friction dropped, but it has not, the results were almost the same. So here in the graph we can see the different coefficient of friction of 4 types of shoes: basketball shoes, soccer cleats, some dressing shoes, and Vans. So as we can see in the graph, the basketball shoes were the ones with the most coefficient of friction. So the basketball shoes had a better grip on this material, and the soccer cleats were the lowest coefficient of friction, so has the worst grip of all 4 shoes we used. This is because I think soccer cleats are not made for wooden surfaces. They're made for dirt or grass, so that's why I think the soccer cleats were the lowest coefficient of friction. So the second experiment we did was we moisturized this material, so we wet the wood, and we can see similar results. Just all the results drop in a significant way, but it has the same order. Basketball shoes has the best grip, even though the wood is wet, and the soccer cleats were the lowest grip.